For Washington to have any chance at beating the Cincinnati Bengals in prime time in front of the world on Monday Night Football, we need to get to Joe Burrow, and we need to make life difficult for Joe Burrow to execute his offense and get the ball to his godlike dynamic duo of receivers. And to do so, Washington needs its Alabama wall to look Alabama-esque, because it's been far from it this season through 2 weeks, and since both of these guys got contract extensions, and it's time that we have a realistic, fair, objective conversation. Let's talk about it. Every time you see Washington when referenced in a national forum, on a national medium, they say Washington is anchored up front by that Alabama wall of Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen. They may be the best defensive tackle room in the league. And fans eat that shit up. We love these guys. These guys are leaders of this football team, and they are being compensated as such. They combined for a just under $45 million cap hit in the 2024 season. Daron Payne getting an extension just over a year ago. But since these guys have been extended, it seems like their best football is behind them, and far too often fans are excusing putrid play by Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen, and I'm sick of it. You are not attacking players because you want them to produce. You are not hating players because you're tired of hearing pregame speeches and seeing niggas go out and get one tackle on Sunday. Jonathan Allen has 2 tackles in 2 weeks. Daron Payne has 1 tackle in 2 weeks. And just like you did with Chase Young, everybody's saying, but no, it's because they get double teamed on every snap of the game. They can't make an impact on Sunday. Well, since we like to make excuses and use pie chart analytics like PFF and shit to prove narratives, PFF Nick Ackridge, the guy who does Pro Football Focus for the Washington Commanders, he says otherwise. He says, speaking of double team, PFF has developed a way of looking at how often defenders are doubled in the run game. And Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen are both under 60%, with neither of them being in the top 15 of highest percentage in the league through 2 weeks. Yes, they were doubled quite a bit on Sunday. You want to know why? Because a defensive tackle's job is to get doubled on a consistent basis. Aaron Donald was doubled for most of his career, and he had a Hall of Fame, possibly best defensive player ever type career in this league. Are John Allen and Daron Payne Aaron Donald? Fuck no. But when you're being compensated as 2 of the best, when you are widely heralded and recognized as this Alabama wall that leads our team to prosperity and forces constant havoc on a weekly basis, when you're not seeing it with your own 2 eyes, you start to question it a little bit. And it's a combination of both of them. It's not all smoke for John Allen either. It's for Daron Payne too. So since we like to fish for pressure rates and pie chart analytics, these are not 2 top 15 double-teamed defensive tackles in this league. The most doubled defensive tackle in this league is Foley Fatukasi. He has a sack this year. He's been doubled on 25 of 30 snaps in the run game. He has more tackles, has a sack this year. What are we talking about? Jalen Hargrave, the other one that has been over 70% in double team rates this year. We need to debunk some of this fan fiction, folklore, excuse making that we do for them. Like, I don't even have to scroll far. I bet I can find somebody in my comments that makes an excuse up for it. My guy said, keep shouting. I can't believe this goes unchecked. Shout out to him. And then there we go. Didn't have to scroll too far. They weren't even that bad last weekend. They got double teamed and Daron caused Cleveland sack. What else were they supposed to do? This is that weak ass fan mindset I'm talking about. Why are we treating these NFL players making 20 plus million a year with kid gloves? Why don't we want better from our players? What else are they supposed to do? Nigga, produce. They're supposed to produce. They're supposed to make tackles. They're supposed to make tackles for loss. They're supposed to open up plays for the edge rusher. They're supposed to create open holes for our linebackers to come up and fill. A defensive tackle is always going to get double teamed. This is not something new. Did some of you not play football growing up? Did some of y'all not always watch football growing up? It is a part of the fucking position. But no, Daron Payne wants to hop on Twitter and come at fans for pointing out that he's not doing shit on Sunday. Keep that aggression on Sundays. Let's see that energy lined up against an opposing guard, an opposing center. We're allowed to want more from these players. I don't know where we got in this world where if you call out a player's shortcomings, you're hating, or why don't you like the team? Why aren't you nicer to the players? We love these guys. I love my kids. I love my friends. If one of them ain't pulling weight and needs to do better, they deserve a kick in the ass and a reminder to do so. 1 tackle and 2 tackles through 2 weeks is unsatisfactory, and we're not getting bang for our buck or return on investment. Point blank, period. And if you don't see that, you need to get off your knees and watch football. These niggas are not going to beat you in the middle of the dance floor. They're not going to escort you to your carriage before the clock turns midnight. They're not going to marry your daughter. They're not going to join your fantasy football league. They are football players, and we should expect better from both of these guys. And for Washington to have any chance versus the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday, they need to play better football. Point blank, period. If you disagree, you are wrong. You are wholeheartedly and vehemently wrong, and you need to turn on the tape again. They got doubled every play of the game. They got doubled for 60% of the game. That is the job of a defensive tackle. Make plays. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Dexter Lawrence makes plays. Chris Jones makes plays. Foley Fatukasi makes plays. Guys make plays in this league. Stop making excuses for this shit. Just like we can criticize Emmanuel Forbes. We can criticize Andrew Wiley. Just because you got favorites, just because you went out and bought a jersey and you got a fat head on your wall of these niggas does not mean that they are devoid of critique and criticism. They need to be better, point blank, period, or one of them is going to get shipped out of here because Johnny Newton was drafted for a reason. You don't even entertain the notion of that type of talent at that position if you felt like we are totally set at defensive tackle for years to come. He was added to this roster for a reason. He got out and got some snaps on Sunday. We need to see more of him. He went out and did what his mentors did. He didn't put much on the stat sheet in week 1, but it's okay for him because he just got here. These guys have been here since 2017, 2018. They're some of the longest tenured guys on this football team, and this fan base and this team deserves better for both of them. Jonathan Allen is one of our vocal leaders. I hear a lot of bark in them pregame speeches, not seeing bite on game day. Daron Payne, he'll shit on you on Twitter. Get on an offensive guard on Sunday. 1 tackle through 2 weeks is not satisfactory. They are on pace to combine for around 40 tackles this year? That's not it. We're ushering in a new defense, new calls, and a hella new personnel. So we need the guys that have been here to lead the way because $45 million is a hell of a lot of money to go out and have 1 more tackle than me on Sunday. I'm just saying, get out of your feelings, get off of your knees, and just watch football. It's not that hard, and it's okay as a fan for you to want more from your team. I see fans harder on the rookie quarterback who's actually playing well than they are on these 300-pound underachievers. Alabama wall who? I need to see it. And for us to have a chance on Monday night, they need to fucking show up and they need to play better. Or we're going to get waxed on Monday. They're going to do whatever they want to us. If I see Zach Moss, if I see Chase Brown running for 5 yards a carry versus this defense, you know who I'm looking to first? I'm looking to Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne, because if they're not going to get pass rush, if they're not going to make life harder on quarterback, they better at least be elite run stoppers. And since they both got paid, they have not been either. And that's a problem. And fans need to open their fucking eyes, take off their burgundy tinted lenses, and see that shit. They got to play better for the defense to play better, because we lack at the cornerback position. We lack at safety. You know what's good for coverage? Pass rush, pressure, chaos up front. You're not going to be getting a bunch of sacks from the defensive tackle position. I'm aware that the 11.5 sacks Daron Payne got in his contract year is an anomaly, an outlier to the rest of his career. I'm aware. I'm also aware that Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne are the best we have on the defensive side of the ball. So if we can't expect better from them, if we keep making excuses for them, then who the fuck do we hold accountable on this football team? Sack the fuck up. This is a grown man's game, and just watch football and hold these guys accountable, because we need better from both players. Point blank, period. That is the end of my TED Talk.